Hello everyone, Felipe here again, here with Dania. We're going to continue the attacks and transitions from side control. Alright, we're in the gi this time, so we're working a lot with lapels. Let's start already everyone. Nice to see you again. Moving the head sideways. Up and down. Circling the head, people. Both sides. And rotating the arm. The other arm. Hips. All right, everyone. Lay down, please. And bridge. 10 times inside. And hip escape. 10 times inside. One. And going on turtle, and back stepping, also 10 times inside, making sure that the hip doesn't touch the floor. Turtle again, and switching the base, pushing the leg through, hip down, weight on the elbows, go back, same thing, to the other side, sometimes inside everyone. And going back, rolling back and forth, over the shoulder, either landing on the knees or landing on the hip. Okay, and coming back. And also let's add some technical stand-up to it. Okay, important to have support on both sides. So left foot, right hand, hip up, foot behind the hand. We bring ourselves up. Okay, we same base, same hand returns to the floor. I keep my weight on my foot and my hand. Push the leg through, switch sides. Same thing, people support on both sides. So left hand on the floor, right foot on the floor, hip up, foot behind the hand, stand up in base, bring the hand back, push the leg through, just one side, and the other side, also 5 times inside, and we move towards the partner drills. Let's go on. Okay everyone, so we're gonna start with a new drill. Alright, this time I'm gonna go from one side to the other side without my opponent reacting, okay? And I just wanna make sure that I do a smooth transition from one side towards the north-south and go back to the other side without losing my pressure. So therefore guys, for this one, we don't have to be fast, alright? Just make sure you're tight. So I'm gonna start here with the cross-face control that we've been working. Here, I'm gonna keep toes on the floor, my shoulder on her face, as close as possible to her shoulder, so I want to have my body aligned to her shoulder, and I'm going to switch base, okay, but I'm going to switch towards the head. So as I have this, everyone, I'm going to let go of the head, so I'm going to elevate my elbow and my knee that is close to the head, and I'm going to push my hip through. And here, everyone, what is important for me is that I keep my weight on my elbow, okay? If I stay like this, Dania has plenty of space to come up, so I want to keep my weight on my elbow so Dania cannot bring herself up. One thing that is important as well, everyone, is that here I'm not relaxing, okay? So I'm not staying like this, because again, I give Dania a lot of space to come up. So I want to make sure, everyone, that I keep my weight on my elbow, my toes on the floor, so I'm driving my weight on her, and here my head pointing forward. Because if Dania starts framing right now and try to push, okay, I'm gonna stay here controlling, all right? I don't wanna let Dania get the control of my bicep, for example, grab my bicep. If Dania has this grip right here, this is the moment where she starts pushing me back, and I don't want that to happen. So if you're here, if you see yourself in this situation, and your opponent starts pushing the bicep, okay, don't let this grip stay. I'm just gonna pummel, get the control, and I'm gonna stay here. Alright, so I switch my base. Now I want to move to the north-south. So what I'm going to do is this leg that I have up, I'm going to take a really big step over the head making sure that I place my elbow under the armpit and I'm gonna move to the north-south. As I have north-south, everyone, again, hips low, my chest pushing on her chest, okay? I wanna have this weight, and I'm gonna have both elbows under the armpit, okay? So now that I have this position, everyone, I wanna move back to the other side. So first thing that I'm going to do is make sure that I have a good control. So I'm gonna cross my elbow, just like we did in the other exercise that we were going to the mount. So I'm gonna place my elbow next to her hip. I'm gonna back step, and I'm gonna have the same scenario that we had before, but this time on the other side. I'm gonna get the control of the arm, and I'm gonna go back to the cross face, okay? And then we're going to do the same process to go back. I'm gonna switch the base, okay? Pushing my leg through, weight on my elbow, head pointing forward. I'm gonna take a big step here with this leg that's on top, and at the same time, is my elbow going under her armpit, so I can switch to the north-south. Okay, hips low, chest over her chest. I want to go back to her right side. So first, my elbow next to her left side. I'm gonna back step, and I'm gonna be back in the first position that we had. And I'm gonna have my control. I mean, here I keep the control of the arm, switch back to the cross face, and we're gonna have this situation. So just moving back and forth without giving your opponent any space. So switch the base, keep myself heavy, step over the head, both elbows under the armpit. I cross my elbow, I back step to the other side, going back to the cross face and establish my position. So just moving here from one side, all the way to the other side, bending up on the cross face. Again, everyone, no need to be fast. Make sure you follow the steps. If you follow the steps correctly with a good control, your opponent's not going to be able to push you away, and you're going to be able to hold your control for the entire transition. Okay? 3 minutes each, one of you on top, the other one on the bottom, and then you switch. It's moving forward, everyone. Okay, people, and repeating the other exercise that we did. This time I'm going to go to the other side when Dania starts getting the underhook. So she starts pushing me to the side. Before she turns all the way towards my back, I'm just going to step behind her head. We've seen this before, just real quick. So, bringing my knee and my elbow down, knee behind that, elbow in front of the belly so you can have a good control. I back step so Dania cannot turn, moving back to the side control. Dania is going to do the same. She's going to turn. I'm going to step behind the head, switch. I drop my elbow on my knee, back step, and I'm back into the side control. Okay, so we're just going to move back and forth in this position. So just for the sake of the exercise, I'm going to let Dania turn. She can see on the hook. Move to one side, and same thing to the other side. Okay, we're just going to be doing this for 3 minutes. All right. This one, again, people, very important to follow the steps correctly. But as soon as you're comfortable with this, try to speed up. Speed is going to be helpful in this one because you want to do that before your opponent has the opportunity of coming up. So as you feel comfortable, try to speed up, try to connect those steps a little bit faster so you can have a tighter position. Okay? 3 minutes again, and then you switch. Moving to the positions, everyone. Okay, everyone. So we're gonna work with another choke here from side control. Sadly for Dania, you're gonna keep on the chokes. All right. So I'm gonna use my own lapel now to get the choke. I'm gonna show the traditional position, and then I'm gonna show a variation that we can use to trick our opponents. Okay. So most important thing for now at this point is just to hold the cross face so Dania cannot move. I'm gonna switch my base a little bit, so I'm gonna extend the leg, and I'm gonna start driving my shoulder onto her face so she cannot see. Okay, she cannot turn her head, she cannot move. Okay, and I'm gonna start creating space on this side of the hip because I wanna use the hand that I have free to start bringing my own lapel out. Okay, I'm gonna take my lapel out of my belt, and here I'm gonna punch. Okay, I don't wanna bring around, otherwise then I can block. Okay, I wanna go here through her defense. I wanna punch and feed the collar to the other hand that is behind the head. Pay attention, everyone. They don't want to grab the whole thing. not just this part, okay? I wanna have a tight grip, so I wanna give like a rope here to the other hand, and palm of the hand facing down. I don't wanna grab here, okay? Otherwise I'm not gonna be strong enough to pull, so I'm gonna go around and I'm gonna feed the collar to the other hand. Okay, now that I have this control right here, people, what I want to do is just move my hip towards the head and my head towards the hip. So I want to block the hip first. So this hand that I have free, I'm just gonna place here. Just gonna post next to her hip. And here, I'm gonna start moving, moving, moving. Okay, from here, this is already uncomfortable for Dani. Just to close the deal, I'm gonna keep myself up and I'm gonna start opening my elbow towards my hip, pulling the collar and getting the choke. Okay? So one more time, everyone. I'm gonna be here on side control, and here I'm gonna start already with the cross face. I'm gonna start dropping all of my weight here, lifting the other side just a bit so I can remove my collar out of the belt. Here, people, if your lapel is already out, sometimes this happens during practice. It's already easier to get. Got this grip, I'm gonna push through, feet to the other hand, palm of the hand facing down, grabbing the whole thing, my hand next to the hip. I just wanna pose to block the hip, because if I don't, as I move, then it's gonna be following, okay? I don't want that. So I'm gonna post my hand next to her hip. As I move, if Dani tries to follow right now, I'm blocking, okay? My arm is blocking her hip, okay? I'm gonna move from here. That's already enough to make her tap. So I just wanna elevate my elbow and I get the choke. In a regular speed, I'm gonna be here, switch my base, collar, feet to the other hand, block, move to the head, elbow up, and I get the choke. Okay? Okay, everyone. So now I'm gonna show the same choke, just with a little trick that I use to make my opponent think otherwise. Okay, because the problem is, if I try to go for the choke here, then it can block it. All right. So what I like to do is to fake the transition that we worked before, and I start bringing my elbow under her armpit, okay? So most of the times when we got to this point, Dani is expecting me to go for the mount, and she cannot actually see what is going on. So here, I'm gonna keep my posture, just like I'm gonna go for the mount. I'm just gonna remove the collar, and I'm gonna feed my collar to the other hand straight from here, okay? I'm gonna go back to my original base. Now, what I'm going to do, I'm going to go to the cross face again. I'm gonna bring my elbow to my hip, and I'm going to trap her head in the middle. Okay, how I did this? As I start bringing my elbow towards my hip, I'm going to slide my arm under her head, and now I'm gonna have the choke. Okay, and here, people, same thing, okay? Block the hip, move the head to the hip to the head, elbow up, and I get the choke. Okay, so it's just a different setup, everyone, to make your opponent guess a little bit more. Your opponent's not going to be expecting, and I think you're going to have a better chance of getting this one. It helps me a lot. So again, I'm here with Dani, okay? First of all, I'm going to fake the transition, so I'm going to place my elbow here. This is a pretty safe situation. Even if it doesn't work, you can do the transition that we did already, but I want to close the deal right away. So I'm gonna take my collar out of the belt. I'm gonna feed right away. And here, everyone, as I switch my base, I showed you slowly, but as I switch the base, I wanna be here already. Okay, I slide my arm under the head. The grip is already in place. Pay attention to close the elbow, everyone. If your elbow stays up, then you can push the elbow and free the head. So at the moment that you brought the arm under the head, elbow close to the hip. Okay, from here she cannot free herself. I block the hip, I move to the head, and I close the deal. Okay? So just a different setup, same submission. Just try both, okay guys? I would suggest you to first try the other one that we saw, so you can actually understand how this position works. and then you can start playing around with some different setups, right? Let's try everyone. All right, everyone, and as I've been doing, just this practice where I start on side control and I'm trying to submit my opponent or to get a better position, right? You guys can transit to any situation that you want to get. If you want to go here for the knee on belly and work from here, that's also fine. Or if you're here and you go for the mount and you work from the mount to get a submission, also fine. One thing that I want you guys to realize, because we've been working with a lot of positions, and I want you guys to start practicing this, is that both transition and submission help each other, okay? So normally when I attack my opponent, it makes it easier for me to get a transition, and the other way around helps as well. So just an example, when we were working here with the submission with the Americana, she's defending, so it is easy for me to get a transition to the mount and submit, okay? And the other way around as well. I was just going for the transition and here, attacking here, the submission, then I didn't see what happened and I got already the grip. So I want you guys to start combining both, do a transition, switch to submission, then you guys are gonna see more openings appearing. Okay, usually the first attack that you try is not gonna work right away, so try to make some combinations and you guys are gonna get better results. Every time you attack your opponent's gonna open him or herself and you're gonna have more options to attack with something else. So try to understand how to make these combinations. You guys are gonna get better results. All right, and just like this, I'm gonna be on top for 3 minutes trying to attack my opponent. Then is trying to defend, end up on top, or get the guard back. If either of those submissions, these situations happen, either the submission or she ends up on top or gets back in the guard, then we return to the side control and start over. Okay, 3 minutes when I be on top, then you guys switch, and then you can add some rolls. I'm gonna suggest you guys to start in side control either way, so you can actually get comfortable in the position. Okay? Nice to see you again, guys. See you soon. Bye-bye.